sitting here with Lindsay Digman, who released her album Mental Health late last year on vinyl. Her music is reminiscent to 90s rock with relatable themes about those of us who suffer from mental disorders. It is a magnificent album, and I am a huge fan. So welcome, and thank you for taking the time to sit and chat with me. I've told you this several times, how much I relate to your album. So thank you for recording it.
Oh my gosh. No, thanks for having me. It still feels so weird hearing like positive praise about something I put out into the world. It's like very new for me. So like it feels like, thank you.
You're very welcome. So what was your musical upbringing like?
I did music since I was a little kid. I was actually going through these old VHS tapes of myself when I was like little, probably like the first or second grade. And there was like video of me and my sister like putting on musical performances for my parents. I was the oldest, so I would like direct everything.
Oh, neat.
and I would try to like do all the arrangements, and I'm like on the drums. I got my sister on the maracas, and I'm like directing her on when to play, and I'm like trying to like tell my mom when to film, and it was hilarious.
So
and we're all in costumes and stuff, like we're
Excellent.
little girls, so we tie like scarves all around ourselves and like
Stevie Nicks yourself out.
Yeah, it was hilarious. And then, I was in band all throughout college, and in high school I was in like every single band. Oh my God, I was such a nerd. I played the clarinet, and I was like one of those kids that would just like run to band class.
Yeah.
I would, I was in the concert band and the marching band and the pit band and the pep band. and then I'd go home and I'd practice for like another hour and a half or two.
Wow.
Yeah, I was obsessed with the clarinet. Like when I went to college, I was like debating on whether or not to do music or engineering. And I thought to myself, well, I could be an engineer and play music, but I probably can't play music and be an engineer.
Correct.
But it kind of worked out well because now that I'm an engineer, I can just pay for my music, which is which is great. I don't have to be like that struggling artist, like trying to figure out how I'm gonna like get it done.
Sure. You still play the clarinet?
I just at home sometimes.
Yeah.
I wish I played more. But it's an instrument that's not as fun to play by yourself,
Right.
As opposed to with a group. I play sometimes. Actually, one thing I want to do, I saw that you can electrify your clarinet, do like an electric clarinet thing. So I had this idea where I want to be able to do a cover of the song Sing, Sing, Sing with the electric clarinet and like make it like a rock song. Because I've seen people revive like older songs and make it new again, but I've never seen someone do it for like a classical instrument, so I thought that would be super cool. So that's like on one of my bucket list things to do.
Now's
in
the
the
time,
future.
Lindsay. Now's the time.
Yeah.
Excellent. So you started playing from a young age, but what were some of your musical influences? What did you listen to? What did your parents listen to that made you say, "Hey, I really like doing this music stuff"?
That's a great question.
Or even yours, sorry.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a great question. Well, I think I listened to, when I was a kid, I listened to a lot of Sheryl Crow.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, like she was my favorite. I listened to Sheryl Crow, her CD like a million times, and Madonna. Those two over and over again in my little CD case on the road trips. And then as I got older, I got more into alt rock, and that's pretty much all I listened to all the time. I was obsessed with the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, great.
Like, my sister, like, hates me for that because she's kind of like a hipster, and she's like, they're so popular. Why do you like them? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, they're fucking good. Like, am I allowed to curse on this?
You are allowed to curse on this, yes.
Like, yeah, maybe, some things are good because some things are popular because they're good, Juliana.
Exactly. I was having that same thought not too long ago. It's like, like, if I were to pick what's the best album from one of my favorite bands, and it's like, yeah, I like that album, and it's a popular album, but it doesn't mean that it's not a good album just because it's popular, right?
Yeah.
So what's your favorite Red Hot Chili Peppers album?
I'm going to be, like, basic and just say Californication. Like, I'm so basic.
It's not basic.
Once again, it's popular because it's good.
Right, right.
Yeah, I love that album. Other albums that I love, oh gosh, there's so many. there's this one album I love. It's by Firefall.
Okay.
I found their. Do you know which one I'm talking about? It's like a vinyl, and it's like a landscape on it. And I found it in a thrift store one day, and I had no idea what it was. And I put it in my record player. I was like, "Holy shit, this is so good!"
Yeah.
I'm sure we can like cut to a picture of it somewhere if I can show it to you like in the podcast later.
Sure.
But that's another one I love. I used to love collecting vinyl. I don't know if I'm like going off script, but I used to love collecting vinyl because back in college I was like super poor, like so poor. Like I was eating for $35 a week. Like I had mice and cockroaches in my apartment.
Oh gosh.
I had like no budget to like do anything fun. So what I would do is I would go to the Goodwill. And I'd take like $5 with me. And for $5, I could go dig through the bins for several hours and maybe walk out with like 10 records.
Yeah.
And then I'd have like hours of entertainment when I got home as well.
Sure.
So that was like, for $5, I can get like a week's worth of fun for me.
Yeah, and that way you probably discovered a bunch of stuff that otherwise you wouldn't have, right? Because you were.
Yes. Oh my God. Have you heard Herb Alpert's Whipped Cream and Other Delights?
Mm-mm.
Oh, that's another great album. It's very brassy and like sexy.
Uh-huh.
And the cover is I bought it just for the cover. The woman is she's just covered in whipped cream and she's naked.
Uh-huh. Sweet.
but it's like an older album, so I was like, oh my God, when this came back out back in the day, this was probably so saucy.
Right. Yeah, probably was. I'll have to send me that later. I'll have to take a listen to that. So, what influenced your decision to play the clarinet?
Clarinet. We already had a clarinet in the house.
Okay, that's simple.
My dad played the clarinet when he was a kid, and he was like really cheap. So he's like, we already have one, so that's what you're playing. And like I said, I got obsessed with it though. Like I was like, I'm still like slightly obsessed with the clarinet.
Are your parents musicians?
No, my dad played clarinet in like middle school, but neither of my parents are particularly musical people. As a matter of fact, they actually were not particularly supportive of me doing, like they liked that I like music was like an avenue to maybe get some scholarship money, maybe, but they weren't like supportive of it as a thing to do outside of that. As a matter of fact, they didn't even, they hated that I sang.
Really?
Yeah, I grew up being told that I was a horrible singer.
What?
Yeah, I would try to sing and people would tell me to shut up.
That's crazy.
Like, go play the clarinet, you're better at that. So, like that was like a whole confidence thing for me, trying to get out there and play, which, by the way, like Southern Maryland is basically the reason I got the confidence to be able to go out and play and sing.
Yes.
Because the open mics here are so friendly and inviting, and it helped me get over this whole like thing I had for my whole life, being told I was a horrible singer and I shouldn't sing, and nobody wants to hear you talk, you're annoying. Like, the album's called Mental Health for a reason. Like, you don't write an album called Mental Health unless you got some trauma you're getting over.
I'm not getting this because I love your voice.
Yeah, but that was a thing. I had a toxic mom, and she did a thing where she like tried to pit me and my sisters against each other. So she put me into like the clarinet, and then she put my other sister into vocal lessons. And it's like she wanted each of us to do a thing, and then she didn't want us to cross pollinate because she was like trying to like shape our personalities. Like it was like weird stuff. Like my sister was allowed to wear skirts and like go to parties, and I was not.
Wow.
Yeah, it was weird. Like it's like, well, you're the smart one. You have to stay home and study, and she's more like the pretty model type whatever, and she's got to go be a socialite. Like it was like the putting in the box was like a real it gets deep.
So you've got plenty of material for more songs to write. I take it.
Oh my God, I guess no. Actually, I got material for comedy. So So before I started doing music at the open mics, I was doing comedy.
Were you really?
Yeah, because I was looking for comedy open mics, and there really wasn't one. It was all music open mics, but they were friendly enough to let me do comedy at them. But the more I went, I was like, man, I really love to do music because I always wanted to. I was just always so nervous to. And at the time, I was going through some shit.
Right.
And I was writing down song lyrics at my job, and I had probably like 5 or 6 songs that I had written, most of these in like 5 minutes.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's like one of those like, what am I feeling today? Let me write it down. Like my Anxiety was the first song I wrote, and it was a 5-minute song. I was like, oh my God, life is overwhelming. Let me write down every single thing that's bothering me.
Sure.
Anyways, so I had all these song lyrics, and I had no way to like make a song with it. So I thought guitar would be the most accessible thing.
Mm-hmm.
So for my birthday, I went out and I got myself a guitar from the pawn shop. I got the cheapest one I could find. It was $50 because it was I think it was like falling apart, and it was like a left-handed guitar.
Oh my gosh.
I still have it. That's what I'm gonna play today.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, but my $50 left-handed pawn shop guitar, and then I wrote the entire album on that. But like I said, I've just put it off forever because I like just didn't have the confidence. And then also coming from like a classical music background, and like being in college and being like a nerd and like having like this box thing put on me, I felt like I almost like would like be throwing hate at guitar players because I'd get mad at like seeing how like confident they looked and how cool they looked, and like, you know, when you're younger, you know,
Sure.
when you get jealous, you're
Sure.
hateful. It is what it is. You got just accept it. And so I didn't want to touch a guitar because I was like, man, I played clarinet 3 hours a day and nobody gives a shit about the clarinet.
Right.
Like screw those guitar guys. I'll never touch a guitar. And I say like, oh my God, that's so stupid.
Well,
Like,
I mean,
but
when
you're
you're
20,
a kid, yeah.
Yeah, when you're 20 years old, you're
Yeah.
stupid. That, you know.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So when did you start playing the guitar, and how?
3 years ago. So not long ago. So 3 years ago, I started playing the guitar to write music for the lyrics I had been jotting down, trying to get through some shit. And within the to learn how to play, I literally just downloaded the Fender Play app.
Wow.
And I did the lessons on that. And so, like, as I was learning, I would apply like each lesson to a song I was writing. So it's like this little, so the album in a way is like this little time capsule and me learning how to play the guitar.
That's
Yeah. Yeah.
that's great. I mean, it's cool and it's crazy, but like now I'm the 20-year-old jealous, like, you know.
Yeah, so the first year I wrote everything, and then the second year I recorded everything, and now I'm on year 3, and I'm learning how to release and promote everything.
Yeah.
So it feels like a long time, but I imagine in the grand scheme of things, that's probably like a drop in the bucket when it comes to
is.
doing, like, learning how to play an instrument and putting out an album.
It is. And let me tell you that none of those songs sound like you just started playing the guitar 3 years ago. None of the lyrics sound like, you know, I don't know. It just seems like if I'd never met you, I would have thought Lindsay's been doing music for 15, 20 years.
Yeah, I guess transferable skills. I don't know. Like, maybe the clarinet helped me a lot.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, like now I'm thinking about it, like, dang, that's like quite the journey. And I know I talked about this to you before, but one of the reasons I was able to get it done so fast is I had the pressure of, while I started recording, I got pregnant. So I was like, oh no, I gotta get this album done before the baby comes, or this album's never gonna get done.
Right.
So I was like, and it also forced me to work with a producer, because I've always been very stubborn and trying to do everything on my own. And forcing myself to open up to accepting help from other people and accepting input, like, not only expedited how quickly the album got done, it just expedited the quality too, getting that second set of eyes on it, and someone bringing in, you know, their talents and stuff, and me being open to listening to that. So that, you know, that was actually a huge growth experience for me as well. I think when, like, I guess like when seasoned entrepreneurs talk about stuff, and, you know, music is entrepreneurship. One of the things they talk about, you keep hearing them talk about it, is don't be afraid to delegate and outsource work.
Sure.
Because that's one of your greatest assets, is the people around you. Where was I going with this? Anyways, so I got it done. So we recorded everything probably in like 4 months.
Wow. Who plays on your record, by the way?
So, yeah, so there's me, there's my producer, Charlie Kim. He does most of the bass parts.
Okay.
I had Alex Bizzarro on there.
Yay. I was just talking to him yesterday.
Oh,
as a
yeah, so you do
matter
know
of
him.
fact.
Yeah, I think he moved to, is he still in Nashville?
No, yeah, he moved.
So he was on the album. I had...
So he played, what did he played?
He played the guitar on the
Okay.
album. And
He's
so
a
did
fantastic guitarist.
Charlie did some of the guitar parts, and I did some guitar parts as well. And then I had drummer named Charles, who did the percussion. We actually had some of the songs we had like actual live mics, so they're like live drums, and others we did like an electronic drum kit, which is pretty cool. So it's still like live track drums, because I really wanted to avoid doing all the looping stuff, because I feel like it like sucks the life out of a song. And then I had Chris Baker. Oh my God, she's so talented,
isn't she?
I know. I'm like so happy that I have her on my album. She plays like every instrument, and she can just hear something and just be able to play it. So like when she came in to do the session, I think she can literally listen to a song one time, pull out the instrument, and then solo over it and add what she needs. Oh my God. So anyways, she was probably my favorite person on the album. Not to like diss anyone else, they're all amazing, but I was so happy to have her. Oh my God.
She's she told me, actually, Miles, who played drums with you this past weekend at the last drop.
Yeah, also a great drummer. Oh my God.
Thank you. He told me that you guys were rehearsing, and Chris was like, "Have you tried playing the brushes?" And Miles was like, "No." and when he did it, he was like, "Wow, this is so much. It's so much better."
She's got a great ear for
really
editing. Like,
so
yeah,
lucky you for having her on
I know.
the record.
I'm so happy.
Yeah.
That's what you guys surround yourself with, people that elevate you. And she's one of those people that I aspire to be as, like I guess talent is subjective, but I aspire to have that level of, I guess talent's a good word too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know, she's just an awesome musician. She's like a great person to aspire to be like.
Absolutely. I think we should all aspire to be more like Chris Baker.
Yeah.
100%.
I hope she sees this.
I'll make her see it.
Okay.
I'll tell her, hey. No, but she really is. She really is she's a phenomenal musician. Like you said, yeah, she can hear a song one time and I got it. I'm like, oh.
I know, the ear on that woman. Oh my God.
How do you do that? I mean, she plays like 1,000 instruments. So.
Yeah.
So you start writing your songs, you buy your guitar so you can put music to your words. When did you realize you wanted to, like, no shit, show the world, hey, I'm Lindsay Digman, I'm writing this album, or I have this music to show you? When did you realize that you wanted to put it all on a record?
Probably as soon as I wrote it.
Yeah?
Like, I was like, oh my God, I love this song. I want to just put it out there. There wasn't really a moment for me. I was just like, yep, I'm going to do that.
Do it.
Yeah, when I do something, I just go, I'm like an all-in kind of person.
I have a saying I tell my friends, when I'm like, because I'm all into, when I get into something, it's like.
Yeah, you got to do it.
So I can't remember who I was telling the other day, but I was like, yeah, I'm like the Kool-Aid man busting through the wall, you know, like, here I come, oh yeah, So finding, how did you said Charlie.
Charlie Kim,
your producer.
Yeah, it was like a serendipitous kind of meeting. He had literally just moved back here from LA.
Oh, wow. And
he was looking for he said he just kind of felt like he was supposed to come to Southern Maryland. Like, it was weird.
Really? So is he from the area? Or?
Yeah, he's from Maryland, but not from Southern Maryland. He had a mutual friend here. And he just felt like he said that he felt like he was just supposed to be down here and he was supposed to do something. And so he came down and he met like actually a different band, and they had asked him to produce for them. And he's like, yeah, maybe this is what I'm supposed to do. And it didn't work out, so he went back up a little further north. And then he said in his mind, he felt like, no, I'm supposed to do something in Southern Maryland. And then we got introduced by that mutual friend. And I saw his work, and then we just started working together.
Wow.
Yes, it was like it was really weird, and especially if I had met him at any other time, if I wasn't pregnant, I probably would not have accepted his help. So it was like one of those like chance, like weird cosmic things. Like, I'm not even like a particularly spiritual person, but it was just like an odd like thing that happened
to be.
Yeah, it was the thing that happened at the right time. And Yeah, he was helping me record up until I was 8 months pregnant. We were recording at my home studio.
Oh my gosh.
Doing vocal takes, and then I would go downstairs and take a nap, and he would mix the music.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I'm going to go take care of me, you take care of the other
Oh my God. You know how hard it is to sing when you're pregnant?
Oh, I know.
Yeah, that's right,
I know.
because you were also like pregnant in a band, and yeah, so you get it.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. It's very hard.
And it's hard to stay up late.
It's, you know, you don't have the lung capacity and
Yeah.
everything hurts.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I get
You're
it.
just like,
Yep. So the main theme of mental health is just that, mental health.
yeah.
What was the decision to write about such a personal and vulnerable album like?
I just needed to get it out. I've always journaled from a young age.
Okay.
Yeah, I think from the time I was in elementary school, I have journals, and they go from elementary school to like now. I've kept a journal most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So writing for me helps me get my thoughts out a lot better than speaking them. I actually had a lot of trouble communicating with people when I was a bit younger. As a matter of fact, my stepmom thought I was on the spectrum. She thought I was like autistic.
Oh, wow.
And then it was funny. She actually convinced everyone else I was autistic.
Jeez.
And then my dad felt like so bad for me. He started sending me articles about why it's okay to have autism. I'm like, Dad,
Lindsay.
I don't have autism.
What the fuck?
Oh, there's layers to it. My stepmom's very nice, but like I was an awkward kid. Like I was like an engineering club, and I played the clarinet, and I didn't know how to talk to people. Like when I got to college, I joined Latin dance club because I was terrified of boys, and I wanted them to have to touch me,
Right.
because I didn't know how to talk to a boy. So for me, writing, I felt like it was an easier way to express myself because I didn't know how to talk and use my words. So working on the album, it was very healing for me because it was a way of, I guess it's like a very generic thing to say that you used your music to process through your trauma, but I mean,
It's not generic. It's the truth.
Yeah, it is what it is. And as I was working on the album, when you experience trauma, which I almost like hate using the word because I'm like, I'm not a victim, blah blah blah, because you try to like distance yourself from it. When you experience that, it kind of wires your brain wrong into thinking things that aren't true, and then you've got like these loops in your mind that you need to break in order to be like a healthy person again.
Sure.
So as I was writing these songs, it's a way of processing what these loops are, what I need to break, and what I need to change to move out of that and be a healthier person and be where I want to be. So, I thought it was a good experience. It's definitely hard. Like a song like Backslide. Yeah. That's thinking about killing yourself.
Yeah. No, and you hear it, and when I hear it, it's like she knows what this is like. Yeah, and people who experience that know that you have ups and downs, and it's not a straight path, and it's very frustrating when you're getting better, and like you've been happy for a while, and you've been doing good, and then all of a sudden you just crash. It's like over the head with a frying pan. Yeah.
It's like you just want to give up on everything and just like destroy your life out of spite, and that was a really hard song to write. It took me a year to put the music to it after I wrote the lyrics because it was just a sad song. And it's a song I didn't want to think about because I didn't want to think about being in that mind space. Sure. And it ended up being one of my favorites on the album.
It's one of mine too.
Yeah. But some of them were easier than others. Like a song like Technology. That was just freaking fun. That's just...
That song, it's very quirky and I love it.
Thank you.
We were going to get down that path, but we're rolling. So,
okay.
What's that song about? Technology.
Oh, it's just my frustration with technology, man. As an engineer, I do a lot of computer work, and as an engineer for the government, I deal with slow government computers. As I started writing it, it became also a critique on the way society interacts with technology. So, how we're moving forward and backwards at the same time, and I'm sure it's a thing that's been said before about how we get disconnected and stuff, but it's not just the disconnection from each other. It's like the disconnection from ourselves as well,
right?
That we experience because we're not sitting with our thoughts. And so like these tools that are supposed to help us end up not being tools, they end up being crutches.
Right.
And that's kind of like the social critique on the technology in that song. But anyways, it's a fun song.
The technology doesn't work, the technology doesn't work, the technology doesn't work. This is what it's like when the technology doesn't work, the technology doesn't work, the technology doesn't work. More vanity, less sanity, great calamity when you're pressing the alt keys. The blue screen isn't death, it's just a way of me, and I have nothing left when control of the lead, control of the lead, control of the lead, control of the lead. This is what it's like when the technology doesn't work, the technology doesn't work, the technology doesn't work. What do you do when the technology doesn't work, the technology doesn't work, the technology doesn't work? Less work, less sanity, more profanity, dealing with dildos that got no batteries. Uh-oh. Going to the store, buying what matters to me, that pack of batteries and a box of wine, 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 and a box of wine. This is where we live, where the technology doesn't work, the technology doesn't work, the technology doesn't work. What do you do when the technology doesn't work, the technology doesn't work, the technology doesn't work? Fuck you, I'm catching Pikachu, I'm swiping left on life, but I won't swipe right on you, right on cue. Your rule 34, make the internet your bitch, and don't be a whore, 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 and don't be a whore. It doesn't matter, the technology doesn't work, the technology doesn't work, the technology doesn't work. This is where we live, where the technology doesn't work, the technology doesn't work, the technology doesn't work. Control of the lead, control of the lead. This is what it's like to be incomplete. Control of the lead, 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 control of the lead. Being a human becomes a feat. Don't love things that can't love you back. Don't love things that can't love you back. That's a fact, 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 that's a fact. What do you do when the computer, it doesn't work? The computer, it doesn't work. The computer, it doesn't work. You do when the technology doesn't work, the technology doesn't work, the technology doesn't work.
Backslide for me. So your lyrics aren't just honest, but they're to the point. And I've said it a few minutes ago, but I can really identify with your songs because they're personal to me. Listening to them because I suffer from depression and anxiety, and
it's rough.
It is. It's very difficult. And you look happy on the outside, and you're outgoing, and people are like, you can't possibly suffer from depression. You're so outgoing.
It's like you're functional. You're so successful.
Right. Right. And there are times when I look fine. I look great, but in here
you're just a spiral.
Correct. So the fact that you chose to be so honest about it and expose yourself in that manner, I have to thank you because, like I said, it's like I'm not alone, and none of us are, right? But there are times when we do feel like, oh, what's wrong with me? Why am I different? So to hear your record, for me, it was like, wow, she gets it. She knows she gets it.
Yeah. That feels good, because that's actually one of the reasons why I wanted to be honest about it. Because one, when you're honest about it, you're also honest with yourself. When you lie to other people, you're also lying to yourself. But two, I was feeling that same way, like I was all alone. And the more I thought about it, it's like, wait, I cannot be the only person that feels this way. And I had this hunch that if I put it out there, there would be other people that would relate to it. Yeah. And I don't know, that just makes me happy that happened and someone could feel what I was feeling and could maybe experience some of that healing too, I hope.
Yeah. I particularly like Crazy because it's like you're apologizing for who you are. And it's like, yeah, we tend to apologize a lot. Us of us who suffer from mental illness, we apologize for being quote unquote crazy, right?
Yeah, and then people can take advantage of that.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
Especially people who you love, and then you assume that because you feel like you're the crazy person if they tell you there's something wrong with you. And obviously they're right, because you love them and someone who loves you wouldn't lie to you.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that was another hard one to write.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. But just like I said, I mean, none of us are alone, right? And now we're in a time in an era where we're talking more about it, we're being more open about it. And I have always been for a very long time now, super honest about it. If I'm having a shitty day, I'll say, I'm having a shitty day, and these are the reasons why I'm having a shitty day.
That's good.
Right. Because I'm with you. When you purge...
The spiral isn't as bad.
Yep. Or, I'm accepting the fact that, hey, this is who I am and this is what I'm going through, and it's okay, that saved me. That I always call it making a deal with my demons, right? Like,
yeah.
I'll let you do your thing, but you got to let me have my life, right?
I like that. I'm going to use that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Go for it. Go for it.
I like that.
So yes, it's that, we're more free to talk about it now, and it's helping people to talk about it.
Makes it feel less isolated.
Correct. So, but It'll Be Okay is like the perfect ending for the album, because it's that proverbial light at the end of the tunnel, right? And you're reassuring yourself, and you're reassuring all of us that, hey, in the end, it's going to be okay.
Did you see the movie Annie, the old one?
Yeah.
Yeah. You remember the song, The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow?
Yes.
That's what It'll Be Okay was inspired by.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. I can hear it now. Now that you mention it, I can hear it.
You've got another day tomorrow to.
Yep.
So my dad, who he passed back in October, but one of the things he used to tell me was every day is a clean slate, and don't wake up angry. Just do a new day.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that song was trying to communicate.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really touching. That's really touching.
My dad was a wise man.
Yeah. He wasn't wrong though.
Yeah.
Okay, so of all of the songs on mental health, which one is the more the one you're the most proud of?
I'm most proud of? That's hard.
I know, right?
I love that whole album. As far as proud, I think at least on the production side, the one I'm most proud of is Ride This High, because it was the closest to what my original vision was, which was I wanted it to feel like I was playing live at open mic, with my friends, and we did the way we accomplished that was we recorded the vocals, the drums, and the guitar live in a studio. We did it all in one take. Oh, wow. It was one of those songs. Yeah, and it was just a live studio recording, and then we layered on the other instruments on top of that.
Wow!
So that we could get kind of that studio quality sound without losing the life that you get from playing a live performance. And so I was really proud of that track because that was one where I was really in the moment when I was playing and I was singing it. And I don't know, it was just, that song just makes me happy because it reminds me to stay in the moment and enjoy the moment. Because life, sometimes I feel like when you're struggling with mental health problems, you think that there's like this like light at the end of the tunnel that you're trying to get to. And like there's like this end goal of when you're going to be okay. But that's not really how life works. Like life is like it's more like a wave.
Sure.
And riding this high is like riding the waves of life and trying to enjoy those good times as much as possible, because the bad time will come. Like something bad will happen. Not to be like pessimistic.
That's just how life is.
Bad things happen.
Absolutely.
So it's trying to not focus on the bad things that did happen or the bad things that may happen, and just being happy in the very moment that you're in. And that's what I think about when I'm playing that song. I'm just enjoying myself. And that's what I did in that recording. And that's what I was trying to achieve there. And that's why I'm really proud of that song.
Isolation is not conducive for body warmth. Went to check up on my loved ones, they're doing alright today. Gave my sister a big hug, she annoys me but I like her okay. I'm gonna ride this high for as long as it will go. You don't know how long the good times last, like the seasons they come and go. Took a ride in my convertible, felt the warm sun on my skin. Favorite song was on the radio, so I blasted it over the wind. La da da, la dee da dee da dee da, la da dee da, da dee da dee la da da, la dee da dee da dee da, la dee da da dee da dee. I'm gonna ride this high for as long as it will go. place. Got margaritas and tacos. Then I got to see your face. Your smile always makes me glow. I'm gonna ride this high for as long as it will go. I'm gonna ride this high for as long as it will go. Thank you. Yeah, I love playing that song.
Is that one your favorite in the album? Because there's a distinction, right? Which one you're the most proud of, and which one is your
My favorite on the album. That's another tough one. I liked how that one turned out, and Backslide is the other favorite. I was so happy with how Backslide turned out.
Yeah.
Those are two of my favorites, I would say.
Excellent. So I saw that you are recording a video for one of your songs.
Yes, I did it. I just did a music video for Ride This High. It's going to come out in the end of June.
Okay.
Because I based that song on living down here in Southern Maryland, I had a director come down, and we filmed all around the county, which I'm super excited about because I get to highlight, St. Mary's County. And we did this whole sunset like shoot on the on Solomon's Boardwalk, and you can see it. We got a shot of the sunset going over the trees under the bridge, and it's gonna be beautiful. I haven't seen the edit yet, but I saw some of the raw footage, and it was like chef's kiss.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that to come out. I'm so excited.
And tell me, what is the significance behind the melons?
Oh. Okay, so that's kind of a funny story. So it kind of the melons that melon picture kind of encompasses I don't know if the word manic is the right word for that period in my mental health struggles. So I was going through so much shit, and I was in Southern Maryland, and I went through a bad breakup. So I bought a house because I was like, well.
Because that's what you do when you have a bad breakup.
Yeah. I was like, well, I'm not paying for my boyfriend anymore, so now I can afford a house. Right. It cost about the same, but it was like a shitty trap house. Like the windows were boarded up and the roof leaked, and I had no heat and no hot water, and I slept on my couch with a pile of laminate for my coffee table, and I found a gun in the fireplace. There was a pentagram burned into the floorboards. I was like, okay, I'm going to fix this house and fix myself at the same time. Oh, wow. But because I bought such a fixer-upper house, I was so fucking broke. I was like, how do I get out of the rat race? And I was trying to come up with all these little side hustles. One of which was ooh, let me take some erotic food photos and try to sell them on Etsy and see if I make some money. And so
I'd love that.
Yes, I printed out a test print. I was like, this is just okay. But one of my friends thought it was cool, so they hung it up on their wall. And then they took another picture because the picture's cut off at the head. So they took another picture to make it look like my head's exploding into another photo. So then I took a photo of the two photos of the wall. And then I turned that into a Polaroid. And then I printed that out, and I took a picture of the picture of the picture on top of my guitar, on top of my actual guitar, and I made that the album cover. So it's this inception of, okay, this is what my life was like when I was going through some shit. I'm gonna put some melons on my boobs and try and make money because I'm broke and I have a broken heart and my roof is leaking and I'm wet and I'm cold and I'm sleeping in a parka on my couch and there's dust everywhere and I have no kitchen countertop because I haven't installed it yet and I ripped out the whole kitchen and now I'm grilling in January outside because I've got no kitchen. And that's where the melon pictures come from, and I thought this encompass the album Mental Health because I was going through some stuff.
Okay, so that is totally not what I was expecting you to tell me.
What were you expecting?
But it's a great, I don't know, something generic, I just
like
hold
melons.
some melons, up to my boobs or whatever. But that's a great story.
Thank you.
That's a great story.
There was going to be an alternate album cover. There's another story behind that too.
Okay.
So the other album cover was going to be, it was a picture of me covered in blood with a meat cleaver.
Oh shit.
And the person who took that picture is actually the director who came down for Ride This High.
Okay.
I was so impressed with that photo shoot. I was like, you need to come down and film my music video. And this was like years later too.
Yeah.
And anyways, when he took that photo, we're in the woods. I'm covered in blood. I got a meat cleaver. And we're taking like these horror like serial killer photos, and as I go to like leave, I'm still covered in blood. I got the meat cleaver in like my front seat. I'm driving out, and there's like road work, and I get stopped, and the road the worker comes up, and it's like very obvious he doesn't like speak much English, and he sees like the meat cleaver and me covered in blood, and I'm trying to like pantomime, photo model, like no murderer.
I promise.
And so he just leans into my window and says, "You married?"
No, I left him in the woods.
So I tell him, "Not anymore." And then I was able to finally drive away. That was gonna be the other album cover, but I was like, I can't market this on Facebook.
Oh my gosh, sure you can.
So I was like, I need to have something that's like a little more PG.
Yeah.
So it doesn't get flagged by the algorithm.
Well, fair enough. Yeah. Oh my God, that's insane. That's so funny.
Oh my God, there's like a million stories from that like phase of my life where I was just kind of like manic and doing stuff.
Yeah.
Like once I went on like a first date to a nudist resort because I was like, why not? But the thing was like to get into the resort, you have to be like a couple because they don't want like creepers coming in there.
Exactly, they don't want the single guy coming in.
So we'd never met before. And then, like, we're getting naked in front of each other, and we had to pretend like we knew each other because they're asking us questions about our relationship, like how we met, and like where we from, and all this stuff.
Right.
And I'm me, and he was actually a pro poker player. So poker face and me, we're just like lining up a storm so we could check out this nudist resort. But anyways, that was just part of my manic phase where I was just doing random things because I was like, I need something to like feel alive.
You were living. You were living.
Oh, but even better, the guy never called me back. So I talked to my mom later that week, and she says to me, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Do you think he didn't like the way you looked naked?" I was like, "No, Mom, I'm not. I don't think that's particularly the reason." And then my pop, he's standing right there. He's like, "Wait, was that the one in Annapolis?" I'm like, "Yeah, Pop, how do you know about that place?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I got kicked out of there in the 90s for screwing around in the pool." Shit. I'm like, "What? Does this run in the family?" Like,
you're gonna have to give me the no. I'm kidding. Are you?
It's a cheap place to park your RV.
Oh,
fair enough. So you know, that's what I learned. I learned so much on my journey.
It sounds like it's called living, right?
Yeah.
You try all kinds of things. If you just sit at home and not try things,
Gotta do stuff.
Absolutely.
You're going through a breakup, gotta do stuff.
Absolutely.
gotta buy a shitty house and fix it up and then produce a whole album.
Are you working on anything new? Anything we can expect?
Yeah, so I've done everything backwards, and now I'm getting the band together.
Yay! Let's talk about your band.
Yeah. So I'm working with a bass player for a few months. He's awesome. His name's Chris. Mm-hmm. He moved up here from Florida, and he like went to school for music and stuff. So he's like, oh my God, so talented. He's been teaching me stuff.
And how did you find him? Because I heard
Craigslist. He just Craigslist. He's actually the first bass player I interviewed. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, this guy. And so we've been rehearsing for a few months, and we're starting to write some new stuff. And it's excellent. Yeah, we're like super excited, and we're just trying to get our set list together so we can start going out and playing more, and hopefully record some things in the future because I still have a couple songs that I haven't recorded at all yet, and he's got some songs too. I'm really excited. So hopefully in the next maybe year or two we'll have another album. Yay! This one will probably be a little less angsty, but it'll be just as fun.
Excellent. Who else is in your band?
We've got a guitarist named Tom. Mm-hmm. He's awesome as well, And we're just trying to fill out that drummer spot. Like, I wish Miles could play for us, but he lives all the way down here. And I know he's already got a band. We're trying to fill out that drummer spot, and then maybe if we can get enough gigs that like pay enough money, we can seduce Chris into like playing with us too.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be definitely would be cool. But I really enjoyed your set that you just played at the last drop.
Thank you. Yeah, it was like my first set with a band since I had a baby, which was like a year and a half ago.
Yay.
So like we've been rehearsing for over a month now, trying to get that set ready. So I was like, I don't know, I was just so excited to like get back out there and do it. So the fact that it went well, I was like, yes.
And I like that it was different from the record. I mean, not by a lot, but it was somewhat different from the record, and I thought that was like so refreshing.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I mean, when we were doing the record, it was mostly just me, Charlie, and session musicians. So, you know, we're just trying to piece together the musical parts.
Sure.
And, you know, most of the structures and the lyrics are the same. But, you know, it's hard to recreate a sound when you had disparate musicians working on things at different times and you're not playing together as a band. So I think it still was great.
No, it was awesome. I really, really enjoyed it. And I can't wait to see more of you live. I can't wait to watch the video. I can't wait to see,
thank you.
You know, hear your new music. Like I said, Mental Health is fantastic album.
Thank you.
One thing though I will ask before we go, is the album going to drop online at some point?
Yes, it's going to drop when I drop the music video.
Okay, perfect.
And I've just been I didn't mean to put it off. It's one of those things where it's like it was like a whole learning curve on how to actually release music. And I started getting like anxiety about like releasing it wrong or something. And now I'm like, I'm just going to release it and let it do its thing.
Yeah, because, I mean, the only way I got to hear it was by the vinyl. Buying the vinyl, right? I went to Bird City Records for Record Store Day, and I was like, I need to get this. So, you know, I got home and I put it on. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And I did find a couple of the songs on one of the online. I buy my music. I don't I don't stream. I'm old school that way. So I did find a couple songs. But yeah, I'm like, I keep telling people about you, and they're like, oh, I can't find her. And I'm like, oh, she's not online yet. But I'm glad to hear that you will be online soon.
Coming soon.
It's such a pleasure to sit down and talk to you. Thank you for opening up to me. I think, you know, I mean, I've said it a couple times in the last hour, but, you know, just being able to be true to yourself and talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and not feel ashamed of that. I think it's very important, and I think your album, you know, says that from beginning to end. And just thank you so much for sitting down with me.
Oh no, thank you so much for having me.
I can't wait to see more.
Oh, thanks.